Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Cabarrus County Board of Education business meeting for Monday, November the 19th, 2012. This year is getting going pretty quick on us already, but we thank you all for being here and for the viewing audience that will see this sometime later on in the week. At this time, I'd like to move on into our opening ceremony. Tonight, our opening ceremony, the presentation of colors, will be conducted by the Northwest Cabarrus High School Air Force Junior ROTC. And the cadets that are in this are Captain Nicole Brett, Cadet Second Lieutenant Stephen Gary, Cadet First Lieutenant Nathan Kipp, Cadet Master Sergeant Matthew Luke, Cadet Staff Sergeant Ishmael Villasenor, and the cadets tonight are being led by Lieutenant Colonel Calvin Martin, United States Air Force retired, and Senior Master Sergeant Corrine Smith, United States Air Force retired. Will you all stand as we honor the presentation of colors?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Colors. Post. Right. Pace. Forward. Perch.
Okay, board members, the first item tonight that we'll need to work on is the setting of the agenda. Do I have a motion that the agenda be approved as presented?
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Minot, a second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries, the agenda's set. Okay, the first thing on our agenda tonight, as far as recognitions is concerned, we have Miss Ronnie Boone, and she'll come to the podium. We have several different things. As I mentioned earlier, we have 8 different recognitions, but Miss Ronnie Boone will start us off with this new award here for Mr. Palmer. Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman Hsu, Dr. Shepard, board members, members in the audience, and to our viewing audience. It's no surprise that we live in a wonderful community that is filled with awesome people who support Cabarrus County schools and our students with their time, talents, and gifts. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that another one of these awesome community members has come forward to support our school system. And at this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Ben Palmer, owner of Concord Printing, to please come forward. Yes, sir. When we went looking for a sponsor for our Impact Through Education Awards, Concord Printing and Mr. Ben Palmer answered that call. At best, we had hoped for a partial sponsorship for these awards and someone who would help us to defray the cost of offering these awards each month to our students and staff members. Without hesitation, Mr. Palmer agreed to sponsor the entire awards program for us for this school year, and for that we are truly grateful. So, Mr. Palmer, on behalf of Cabarrus County Schools, the students and staff members who have received this award and those who will receive this award throughout the rest of this school year, we thank you for your sponsorship and your generosity. And we thank you for being supportive of our school system and for being a part of our community. And we just really want to let you know how grateful we are, and I hope you would let the board members also express their thanks as well. Thank you very much.
And Ms. Boone, while you're getting ready for the next award here, I just wanted to say just a couple things about Mr. Palmer. He didn't know I was going to say this, but I've known Ben a long time, and him and his wife, they are wonderful people. We started our businesses about the same time. Ben was in a little yellow house, and I was in a little white house. And now he's in this big castle, and I'm out of business. You know. So, but anyway, somebody was doing something right, wasn't they? So Ben, we want you to know, really, we appreciate you and you supporting Cabarrus County Schools in this way. Thank you once again, Ms. Boone.
Thank you. So, without further ado, I am pleased to announce that the Impact Through Education Awards, sponsored by Concord Printing, will be presented tonight to students and staff members at Rocky River Elementary School and Central Cabarrus High School. We will begin with Rocky River Elementary School. So I would like to invite any members of the Rocky River administrative team to please come forward to stand with your students and staff. Our first honoree from Rocky River Elementary School is Kendall Lee. Would Kendall and her family please come forward? And her family. And smush a little closer together so we can get everybody in the picture. Kendall is a 10-year-old fifth grader at Rocky River Elementary School. She enjoys singing and dancing and going to church with her family. She plans to attend college and wants to become a surgeon so she can help improve the lives of others. Kendall hopes that she will be able to start her college career early by attending the Cabarrus Kannapolis Early College High School. Kendall inspires her peers and her teachers with her ever-present smile and positive attitude. Kendall always strives to do her best, and she does not accept the idea of defeat. She always perseveres, regardless of how difficult the situation might be. Kendall enjoys serving as a kindergarten big buddy and looks forward to any opportunity to work with the younger students at the school. Kendall appreciates the great teachers and administrators at Rocky River, and she would like to thank everyone for this great honor that she has received. Kendall is an amazing role model for others, both students and adults. She is a much appreciated member of the Rocky River family. Congratulations, Kendall. Our next honoree from Rocky River Elementary School is Chris Dry. Would Chris and his family please come forward? Chris is also a fifth grader at Rocky River Elementary School. He enjoys building collectible cars, riding four-wheelers, hunting with his dad, building with Legos, and playing with his new kitten. Chris enjoys lots of things about school, but he especially enjoys math. Chris is an amazing student. He is always respectful to his classmates and to all adults in the school. He always impresses others with his politeness and his great manners. He is a true role model for others. Chris serves on the Flag Patrol at Rocky River, a responsibility that he takes seriously and performs with great pride. Chris is always willing to help others, and he does so with sincerity and enthusiasm. Chris demonstrates a strong work ethic and sets a positive example for his peers to follow. Congratulations, Chris, on making an impact through education at Rocky River Elementary. Our next honoree from Rocky River Elementary is Mrs. Christie Morocco. Would Mrs. Morocco and her family please come forward? Mrs. Morocco joined Cabarrus County Schools in 2007 as a second-grade teacher at R. Brown McAllister Elementary. The following year, she joined the Rocky River Elementary staff as a fourth-grade teacher. She's currently in her third year serving as the lead teacher at Rocky River. She's also pursuing her administrative certification and is completing her principal internship this year. Before coming to Cabarrus County Schools, Mrs. Morocco worked for Union County Public Schools for 6 years. Mrs. Morocco works extremely hard to serve the students and staff at Rocky River. She is always willing to go well above the call of duty at Rocky River. She provides teachers with instructional support and nurtures the positive learning environment for all students at the school. In her role as principal intern, she assists with many of the administrative duties that arise each and every day, and she does so with enthusiasm and professionalism. Mrs. Morocco is an amazing educator and is greatly admired and appreciated by her Rocky River family. Congratulations and thank you for making an impact through education. And our final honoree from Rocky River Elementary this evening is Miss LaTarsha Oliver. And I understand from Mr. Lamb that Miss Oliver could not be here this evening, but I would like to still read her biography and then present the award to Mr. Lamb to make sure that she gets it. Miss Oliver has been employed with Cabarrus County Schools since 2008. She started as a one-on-one assistant in the BED class at Concord High School, and she currently serves as a teacher assistant in the intellectually delayed class at Rocky River. Ms. Oliver earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Recreation Therapy from Morris College in Sumter, South Carolina. She's currently enrolled at the University of Phoenix studying psychology. Ms. Oliver enjoys working with children with special needs and unique behaviors and has done so for 15 years. She demonstrates an amazing love for the students she serves. She's always willing to go above and beyond her responsibilities to meet the students' needs, as well as their social and academic needs, as well as the needs of other students in other classes. Ms. Oliver loves what she does and does it with great expertise and great pleasure. Congratulations to you, Ms. Oliver, and thank you for making an impact through education at Rocky River Elementary. Now we'll honor our students and staff members at Central Cabarrus High School who were nominated for the Impact Through Education Award. And I'd like to invite any members of the Central Cabarrus administrative team to please come forward. Our first honoree from Central Cabarrus is Daniel Starkle. Would Daniel and his family please come forward?
Fine, right where you are.
Daniel Starkle is a senior at Central Cabarrus High School and ranks second in his class. He comes from a family of wonderful students. His brother and sister also graduated from Central, each at the top of their classes as well. So it is very evident that his family values education, and Central Cabarrus appreciates the influence the Starkles have had on the school and setting the tone for excellence. Throughout his time at Central Cabarrus, Daniel has always challenged himself academically. He has consistently taken the most difficult classes and has been the pace setter in each of them, challenging his peers to work harder and to push themselves toward greater things. In addition to his outstanding academics, Daniel has a part-time job at Lowe's Foods in Harrisburg. He also excels in extracurricular activities. He has served as an active member of the Central Cabarrus High School Science Club for the past 2 years. His ability to complete club and class projects reflects his organizational skills and strong leadership. Some of his teachers have had the following to say about Daniel. Daniel is one of the students teachers hope for each year. He strives for his best in everything he does. Daniel is a selfless young man who leads by example, gets along well with everyone, and always makes a good impression. Daniel represents all that Central Cabarrus High School strives for. His peers see him as a leader, and teachers see him as a model student. He has led by example in the classroom and has impacted the overall culture of the school. Central Cabarrus High School is proud to present Daniel Starkle with the Impact Through Education Award. Congratulations. Our next honoree from Central Cabarrus High School is Shane Benson. Would Shane and his family please come forward? It is with great pleasure that Central Cabarrus High School nominates freshman Shane Benson for the Impact Through Education Award. Shane has made an amazing impact on the school in just a few short months. Once you meet Shane, you instantly see why he was chosen to receive this award. Shane is a student in the Central Cabarrus STEM program. He emulates everything the school is looking for in STEM. He is collaborative, innovative, dedicated, and passionate about everything. But Shane isn't just a remarkable STEM student. His enthusiasm and passion carry over into everything he takes on and has spread like wildfire throughout the school. As a freshman in the broadcasting class, he has brought new life to the school news. Students all over the school love watching Shane and watching to see what he's going to report on next. Shane always goes above and beyond in everything he does. He's always willing to help someone out, says one of his classmates in broadcasting. The entire school knows Shane and has embraced his charisma and charm. When asked about Shane, a STEM history teacher, Daniel Combs, had this to say. Shane is an all-around pleasure to teach. He is creative and personable. Shane is always willing to help in any way that he can. Recently, he was recommended by his teachers to represent the STEM program at the Cabarrus County Schools Magnet Fair. Bridget Jones, the STEM coordinator, said, "He absolutely shined that night. His brilliant personality and insight into our program captured the attention of parents and students seeking to learn more about our unique program." In a short time, Shane has really made a difference at Central Cabarrus. Teachers, administrators, and students are eagerly anticipating what the next 3 years will be like. Congratulations, Shane, on receiving the Impact Through Education Award. Our next honoree from Central Cabarrus High School is Ms. Amy Hicks. Would Ms. Hicks and her family please come forward? The students at Central Cabarrus High School enjoy many rewarding traditions during their 4 years. Freshman Academy, home football games, lunch in the North Cove, Spring Celebration Day are just some of those traditions. Hopefully, every student will get to take a class in the Hut, the affectionate name given to Mrs. Amy Hicks' classroom. It is in the Hut where Mrs. Hicks shares her passion for Bible history with students who take her class. During the 27 years Mrs. Hicks has worked at Central, she has made a profound impact on many lives, both inside and outside the classroom. Mrs. Hicks graduated from Columbia International University in 1986 and began teaching at Central in the fall of that year. She's taught at Central Cabarrus ever since. For Mrs. Hicks, working at Central has always been special because of the people who work there. As she often says, they are like family, and my CCHS family has seen me through difficult times in my life over the past 27 years. It wouldn't be a normal semester at Central without being asked by one of her students about playing the disciple scavenger hunt. Mrs. Hicks solicits volunteers from the staff every year to play the role of one of the disciples. Once the student finds a member of the staff participating in the game, he or she asks the staff member a series of questions and tries to determine which disciple they are playing. Staff members vie for a spot in the game, so much so that Mrs. Hicks has had to keep track of who plays so she can give every staff member an equal opportunity to participate. Activities such as these are just a sample of Mrs. Hicks' creativity and energy for her teaching. Mrs. Hicks loves her curriculum almost as much as she loves working with students. It is always a joy to walk in her classroom and listen to her teach. She engages the students in high-level questioning and hands-on activities. Mrs. Hicks' work at Central Cabarrus does not stop at the door of the Hut. To maintain her program, she constantly seeks involvement from students and parents in various activities. The event that highlights her program every semester is the Bible Play. It is at this event that parents can witness the wonderful work their children do in Mrs. Hicks' class. The positive impact Mrs. Hicks has had on every student she has taught is impossible to put into sufficient words. One of her students said it best. Of all the teachers I've had, I feel like I can connect with her the most. She brings out the best in everyone. I always look forward to going to her class. Central Cabarrus High School is proud to present Amy Hicks with the Impact Through Education Award. And our final honoree from Central Cabarrus High School this evening is Ms. Katie Buckwell. Would Mrs. Buckwell and her family please come forward? Central Cabarrus High School is proud to recognize Mrs. Katie Buckwell for her impact on education. Katie is married to Officer Doug Buckwell, School Resource Officer for Central Cabarrus. They have 5 children, ages 3 to 15. Mrs. Buckwell has served the students and staff at Central Cabarrus High School for 6 years. Every school has that one employee who is the linchpin of daily school operations. Without this person, the school at best doesn't run right that day. At worst, the absence of this key individual causes all good order to collapse, and the institution ceases to function as an educational entity. For Central Cabarrus, Mrs. Buckwell is that employee. One of the many tasks she performs at Central is checking in students who are late to school. And even though she is dispensing after-school detentions to them, the students still love and respect her. Maintaining positive relations with students while simultaneously disciplining them is a rare and special skill. Mrs. Buckwell is gifted in this coveted talent. She also operates the control room and acts as the first contact for students who have been sent out of class. Her demeanor and ability to calm a situation, as well as her relationship with the students, make her the perfect person to ease some very difficult situations. Teachers and staff love Mrs. Buckwell too, and she does a wonderful job in keeping relationships between teachers and administrators strong. Mrs. Buckwell is extremely organized and focused and transfers that to the school's assistant principals. She assists them and ensures that the discipline process is both efficient and effective. To administrators, Mrs. Buckwell is a lifeline. She manages the discipline paperwork, attendance data, and check-in and check-outs, all with a smile. Mrs. Buckwell's encyclopedic knowledge of the student body also is both impressive and very useful to staff. Her contributions to the staff and students do not stop with her work at the school. She supports Central students in their extracurricular events and staff by baking for their birthdays and special occasions or creating special gifts for them. On days when she is absent, everyone from the newest freshman to Mrs. Reimer herself knows and feels the loss. Central Cabarrus High School staff and students want to thank her for her service and commitment to making Central a great place to be. Congratulations, Mrs. Buckwell.
Thank all of you for those of you that received awards tonight. Ben, that's what it's all about, impact through education. And all these people, these children, these staff members contribute greatly to education. And thank you once again, Ben, for sponsoring this. Okay, our next award will be the Hilbish Ford Teacher of the Month Award. And we've got Mr. Tim Vaughn with us tonight from Hilbish Ford, and Dr. Shepard and Kathy Auger also will make this Teacher of the Month Award. And Tim, it's good to see you to be with us tonight. Been missing you.
Good evening. Tonight, I'm pleased to present the Hilbish Ford Teacher of the Month for Cabarrus County Schools. We certainly appreciate the generosity of Hilbish Ford and thank them for helping us to salute an outstanding teacher each month. Tonight, Mr. Tim Vaughn, General Manager for Hilbish Ford, is back with us to present this month's award. The Cabarrus County Schools Hilbish Ford Teacher of the Month for November 2012 is Wanda Barber. Ms. Barber, would you and your family and any members of your school administrative team please come forward? Wanda Barber is a second-grade teacher at W.R. Odell Elementary School. She was nominated for this award by one of her students' parents. In the nomination, the parent wrote, "Mrs. Barber is an amazing teacher. She is very organized and recognizes the individual learning needs of each child who crosses her path. As a parent, I am truly grateful to have had that experience from my child. I was floored by how much she cares and how much time and energy she puts into every child. The children who are fortunate enough to have had her as a teacher leave her classroom with very high self-esteem, so high they are ready to conquer their next challenge with ease. Her ability to teach them strategies that will last a lifetime is remarkable." The parent also shared, "When Mrs. Barber would speak to me about my child's performance in her class, she made me feel as though my child was the only amazing child in the world. Come to find out, after having conversations with other parents, I found out that their children, too, were the only amazing children in the world." I say all this to say that every child in Mrs. Barber's class is catered to as if they are the only child in the world who matters. Mrs. Barber is a great teacher and nurturer. She's a mother teacher who is raising 24 children each day and teaching them to be good to each other. She gives all of her students the same great educational experiences through differentiation and tailor-made instruction. The children love her, and they are disciplined and ready for the next school year. Mrs. Barber, please accept our congratulations and thanks for all that you do each day to teach, nurture, and inspire your 24 remarkable students. We're honored to have you as a part of the Cabarrus County Schools. And Mr. Vaughn and Dr. Shepard are presenting you with a few tokens of appreciation. And before you're seated, we'd also like for you to allow our board members to shake your hand and congratulate you individually. Thank you.
Thank you again, Mr. Vaughn, for being here, and our Hilbish Teacher of the Month Award. It's a wonderful thing that these people do for our system. Our next award is, board members, it's 4.4 in your agenda there, and this is, I'd like to ask Ms. Minot and our distinguished Wayne Williams in the back there somewhere to come to the podium, because we're going to be doing the Cabarrus County Education Foundation Inaugural Teacher Mini Grants. So,
All right,
Ms.
Mr.
Minot,
Chairman, I think I'll just remain up here with this hat
Okay.
on for one more night,
Okay.
and then join the Education Foundation Board next month. Old board members never die, they just become members of the Foundation Board. I've asked Wayne Williams, a former member of this board, and the chairman, along with Glenda Thomas, of our new mini grant committee, and we have some exciting news for the very first year of the inaugural Cabarrus County Education Foundation mini grants.
Thank you, Grace. Chairman Chu, board members, Dr. Shepard, thank you for allowing the foundation to come tonight to give you a bird's eye view of a new program that the Cabarrus County Education Foundation has started this year. The mission of the foundation is to support and enhance education in Cabarrus County schools. This is the first year of this initiative, and it has been a year in the process of discussions and trying to figure out what would be the best way to award grants and how we would award grants. But this has finally come to fruition this fall. We had 40 applications, and 30 grants were funded, which was a great number for the first year of this program, and we're sure that the number of grant requests will grow in the future, and hopefully we will be able to fund more in the future. I'm sure the foundation would not be opposed to individuals or companies sponsoring foundation many grant applications, and we would be glad to speak with people about that. The selection committee looked for creative ideas that could be carried on in subsequent years and shared with other teachers in the system. All grade levels and ability levels are represented with the grants, and they range from agriculture gone wild to xylophonia. We hope to be able to continue and expand the grants in the future. And I believe we have 3 representative teachers here tonight, and we're going to present their checks to them. The other checks will be distributed through the school system. At this time, if we could have Mary Ferguson from Patriots Elementary School, Mary Phillips from Coltrane Webb Elementary School, and Christie Hogan from Concord Middle School come forward.
Mr. Williams, while they're coming forward, I do want to add, and I failed to put this down for you, the total amount of grants is over $13,000. So we're very proud of that figure.
And I'll give you a little capsule of what each of these mini grants entails. Ms. Ferguson from Patriots Elementary School grant is titled Boys Book Club. It's targeted toward 45 low achievement, non-motivated readers in grades 3 through 5. Club members will meet with a teacher mentor twice a week for a 10-minute book discussion. At the end of several weeks, the club will share a pizza lunch and book-related activities. Mary Phillips from Coltrane Webb grant is titled Agriculture Gone Wild. It's an intensive unit reaching over 500 students in the STEM program, and I believe there was an article in the Independent Tribune recently about this, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure. It correlates with multiple units in grades K through 5 that promote healthy eating habits and agricultural literacy. Christie Hogan represents a whole group of teachers from Concord Middle School. Their grant is 7th grade readers workshops. 5 teachers applied for supplementary readers for the entire 7th grade to enhance and enable full implementation of the new Common Core reading and writing programs. So at this time, I will present their checks, and they are to be congratulated for the work they put in to be able to gain these grants for their students. Thank you very much.
Once again, thank you, Ms. Minot, and thank you, Mr. Williams, for being here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next item on the agenda is the Principal of the Year Award, and I'd like to ask Ms. Kathy Auger to come to the podium, please.
Okay, and I'd like to go ahead and ask Ms. Reimer to come forward, and anyone with her that she'd like to bring. I just want to say I'm personally so excited to give this award tonight. Wells Fargo, in collaboration with the Department of Public Instruction, recognizes outstanding principals from North Carolina Public Schools through the Wells Fargo Principal of the Year Awards. In 2011-12, Our CCS Principal of the Year, Hilda Batts, was also selected as a Regional Principal of the Year. In our district, principals vote to create a list of finalists, and then our recent past winners interview those finalists and make a selection. In addition to Ms. Batts, recent past winners who helped with the interview process were Todd Smith, Carla Black, Edie Sawich, and Janet Smith. We are proud to announce tonight and recognize Ms. Reimer as our 2012-13 Principal of the Year. Lynn is widely recognized as a passionate and knowledgeable leader who places priority on her students and staff members. Ms. Reimer began her career as a math teacher and later was an assistant principal in Burke and Gaston counties. We were fortunate to hire Ms. Reimer in 2006 as an assistant principal at Concord High School. She became the principal at Northwest Cabarrus High School in 2007 and has been principal of Central Cabarrus High School since August 2011. On the Teacher Working Conditions Survey, staff laud Central Cabarrus High School as a great place to work and learn under Ms. Reimer's leadership. As one colleague put it, Lynn is the hardest working, heat-seeking missile with whom I have ever had the pleasure of working. She will always seek the best for her students and teachers and won't accept anything less. And Lynn, I'd like to present you with this plaque and congratulate you.
I think she brought her fan base with her. What do you think? Congratulations. Okay, our next item is 4.6, and Ms. Auger, you're already there, I believe, for the North Carolina Elementary Art Educator of the Year.
Yes, sir. It's indeed a pleasure for me to introduce to you tonight yet another outstanding Cabarrus County Schools educator, Amy Mills. And Ms. Mills, would you come forward? Oh, she was not able to come. Okay. Ms. Mills was not able to attend tonight, so let me go ahead and give you some information about her, and we will be sure to get this award to her. Amy Mills is an art teacher at Wyckoff Elementary School. Earlier this fall, we received notification that Amy had been named the North Carolina Elementary Art Educator of the Year by the North Carolina Art Education Association. Amy was nominated by the NCAEA president because of her dedication to art education and her tireless efforts statewide on behalf of art education. She was honored, along with the other two state winners for middle and high school art education, as the association's annual conference earlier this month in Asheville. We congratulate her on this esteemed honor, and we are very proud to call her one of our own. Thank you. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Ms. Auger. Okay, board members, we'll move on to 4.7. That's the North Carolina March of Dimes Youth Council. We have Ms. Donna Smith there at the podium for this recognition.
And I'd like to invite Mr. Todd Smith and Mr. Mike Jolly to come forward, please. And at the same time, to introduce to you Casey Calloway and Grayson Miller. It is my personal pleasure to introduce two very special students to you, Casey Calloway and Grayson Miller. Casey is a student at Cox Mill High School, and Grayson is a student at Northwest Cabarrus High School. Both have been selected to serve on the 2012-2013 March of Dimes North Carolina Youth Council. The March of Dimes is a leading nonprofit organization that promotes healthy pregnancies, improving the health of babies by preventing birth defects, premature birth, and infant mortality. And the North Carolina Youth Council is comprised of students that are committed to promoting, supporting, implementing youth leadership initiatives for the March of Dimes. Students are carefully screened and selected based on their commitment in bringing the March of Dimes mission to students and faculties on local campuses. 46 students representing various counties throughout North Carolina were appointed, and we have 2 of those 46 tonight. This is terrific. Youth Council members work closely with other volunteers and professional staff at the March of Dimes chapter, regional, and North Carolina offices to provide leadership and assistance with other North Carolina service partners on advocacy and health education initiatives. We certainly are so proud of Casey and Grayson and know you will represent Cabarrus County well as you serve on this council. We want to thank you for taking on this role, and we'd like for you to have the opportunity now to meet the Board of Education. Thank you so much.
Okay, we're going to move on to 4.8, and this is the recognition of the outgoing board members. And that would be for Dr. Shepard and myself, and we'll move to the podium.
Tonight, I have the honor and duty of recognizing 4 outstanding public servants who have given much to this school system. And as I call your name, I ask that you come forward and stand beside our chairman, and we have small tokens of our appreciation to give to each of you. First, Ms. Holly Blackwelder. Ms. Blackwelder was a board member from 2004 through 2012. She served as the board chair in 2008, 2009, and 2011, as well as being board vice chair in 2006 and 2007. And the plaque reads, "In recognition and appreciation for your years of dedicated service to the Cabarrus County Board of Education and the Cabarrus County Schools." If you would just stay there so we can get a group picture. Okay. Next, I'd like to recognize Ms. Cindy Furtenball. Ms. Furtenball was a board member from 1998 through 2012. She was board chair in 2001 and board vice chair in 2000 and 2010. Again, in recognition and appreciation for your years of dedicated service to the Cabarrus County Board of Education and Cabarrus County Schools. Next, Mr. Tim Furr. Mr. Furr is a board member from 2008 through 2012, was board vice chair in 2011, and in recognition and appreciation for your years of service to the Cabarrus County Board of Education and the Cabarrus County Schools. And last but not least, Ms. Grace Minot. Did I say it right, Grace? That's right. Grace is a board member this term for 2011 and 2012, and many years before that, and that's not recognized here, but hopefully on another plaque hanging on the wall already somewhere. In recognition and appreciation for your years of service, dedicated service to the Cabarrus County Board of Education and Cabarrus County Schools. Ms. Grace Minot.
Dr. Shepard, could I just, on a point of personal privilege, say a word? We've got 40 years of board service here in front of us. It's remarkable. I see Wayne Williams in the room too with a number of years as well. I was a fairly young lawyer on the board when Ms. Furtenbaum joined 14 years ago, and have the pleasure of serving with these folks as board members and chair, and it's been an honor. And I can tell you, after serving in the open sessions, which you see, closed sessions going past midnight a lot, at retreats, at conferences, Cabarrus County's been very well served. These board members put the children of the system first, and it's not just words to them. They have served with integrity, with caring. All their deliberations have been focused on what's best for the children, and I admire that deeply. I admire the respect they show each other and the citizens of the county, and I think we really do owe them a significant debt. It's a lot of years and a lot of service, and I certainly thank you as one that's been lucky enough to be a witness to those years. Thank you for your service.
And I'm going to take this opportunity as well to say that I have a tremendous debt of gratitude to all four of these outgoing members for the help that they have shown me and guidance and showing me the ropes. And Mark is exactly right. You all see a lot of the public and what we do here, and the dedication of going to conferences and being out of town, and the material to read and be prepared for a meeting is just tremendous. So you all have done an excellent, excellent job, and I personally am indebted to each and every one of you.
Thank you, Mr. Kiger. And I want to add my little bit as well. And I've had the privilege myself to work with all of these board members, and I'm going to miss these guys. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to miss them. You know, Cindy, you and I, we've been on the board, I guess, the longest ones now. And Cindy was on the board when I came, and Grace was as well. And so I worked with you all these years, and I found you to never shirk a task. You've always been there. Whatever it took, you worked, and it's for the children of Cabarrus County Schools. And, it just makes what we do just so much better, knowing that there's people out there that are caring and willing to try to make a difference. And I thank you for all that you've done, and I appreciate all that, and we're going to miss you. Okay, board, we need to move on, and there's two things that I want to mention here before we move on to the approval of the minutes, and that is that we have one of our outgoing board members, Ms. Furtenbaum. She was appointed just recently to the All-State Board, which is awarded to Ms. Furtenbaum, the Cabarrus County Board of Education, for outstanding service to the education of North Carolina's children, November the 13th, 2012. And Cindy, I think this is for 1 year. Is that correct?
Yes, Lynn, and it's really just honorary, but 8 board members across the state were chosen.
Yeah, okay. And so I just wanted to recognize that even though Cindy's going to be off of our board, she's going to still be working with children in that arena on a state level. And also, I have a letter here dated November the 9th from the state of North Carolina, Office of the Governor, and it's to Miss Cynthia Furtenbaum. Dear Cindy, it gives me great pleasure to reappoint you as a member of the North Carolina E-Learning Commission pursuant to Executive Order 64, 2010. Your reappointment is effective immediately. Your term will expire on September the 30th, 2014. Thank you for your willingness to continue to serve the state of North Carolina. I am deeply grateful for people like you who are willing to give of their time and talent to move North Carolina forward. Your diligent and effective service has already made a difference for our state. If you have any questions regarding your reappointment, please contact the Office of the Board of Commissioners, and this is signed by Governor Beverly Perdue. So I just wanted us to give our congratulations to Cindy, and we appreciate all that you've done, Cindy. We wish you the best of luck with whatever you do and in this endeavor as well. Thank you. Would you join me in a round of applause?
What's the number on that ladder? I may have something I need to...
And I would for sure be amiss if I didn't announce also that we have in our audience tonight the newly elected 4 board members that will be joining our board on December the 3rd. And if you would, I'd like for you to stand when I call your name out. Barry Shoemaker. And we have Rob Walters here with us tonight. Also David Harrison and Jeff Phillips. If you men would all stand there. And if you all audience, give them a round of applause as well. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for being here and for attending all the meetings that you have for the last 6 or 8 months. And we all look forward to working with you. All right, now, board members, we'll move on.
Mr. Chairman,
yes, ma'am.
if I just may comment, I think it's the community at large did not know these were the 4 probably most focused candidates coming to board meetings. Probably very few did, but I think there's some saying, and I don't remember the exact words, but basically you'll get your rewards. Work hard and you'll get your rewards, and you guys did. It wasn't just about the campaign signs. It was about being at the meetings and learning and knowing what you were talking about and being ready for the role. So thank you for your diligence. I feel much better when I saw the top of that ballot, so or the results, I should say.
Thank you, Ms. Furtenbaugh. Okay, board members, we've had 5.1, the approval of the minutes from the October 1st, 2012 work session, the October 8th business meeting, and the October 29th public hearing. Do I have any corrections, or do the minutes stand as they are? Okay, I need a motion that we approve the minutes as they're presented. Have a motion? And a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Okay, motion carries 6-0. Minutes are approved. All right, now we'll move on into the report section of our agenda tonight. And I also wanted to say that those of you that had received recognitions and that type thing, if you care to leave the meeting, by all means, feel free to do that, because we've got a few more things that we're going to have to handle before tonight's over. And so if you want to endure this, I'll welcome you to stay. But if you want to go, then you're certainly welcome to go. But we'd like to have you to stay if you can. All right, so now we'll move on to, let's see, the report section. It's board chair comments. I've said enough tonight already. Dr. Shepard, do you have anything you want to say tonight?
Just a few things, Mr. Chair, if I could, please. First, I'd like to say thank you to all of our students and staff members who donated to the relief effort to assist those that were affected by the Hurricane Sandy in the Northeast recently. It's times like these that we're reminded of the kindness of the human spirit, and in particular, the generosity of our colleagues and our students. So thank you very much. Also want to remind our viewing audience that our parent webinar series continues. Recorded versions of the sessions are available in our webinar library, which is located on the Parents tab of our district website. The webinars cover topics such as academic success, how to achieve academic success, family leadership, raising healthy and responsible students, and building bridges to extraordinary results. As was mentioned earlier tonight, I want to add my word of thanks to our Cabarrus County Education Foundation for awarding the mini grants to our students, totaling more than $13,000. The mini grants will allow many of our teachers, you saw 3 tonight, but many of our teachers to bring unique and enriching learning experiences to our students. So thank you, Ms. Minot, Mr. Williams, and members of the Education Foundation for your continued support of our teachers. Tonight I'd like to ask you to join me in congratulating Dr. Kelly Probst on her selection as a member of the Top Women Business Leaders Class of 2012, sponsored by Business Today, a regional publication that highlights business issues in the Lake Norman, University City, and Cabarrus County areas. There were nearly 24 finalists, and this year's winners are leaders in their enterprises and have led their organizations through the tumultuous times of the recession and its fitful recovery. Congratulations, Dr. Probst. And finally, as we prepare to celebrate Thanksgiving later this week, I just want to extend my sincere thanks and appreciation to our staff, students, and parents for the wonderful start to our school year. We wish each of you the very best this beautiful season has to offer. We hope that you get to spend some quality time basking in the warmth glow of your family and friends over the holidays. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Shepard. Our next item is guest speakers, and according to our board clerk, we have no guest speakers that have previously signed up. So with that being said, we'll move on to 8.0, the approval of the consent agenda. Board members, you know these are the items that we discussed in our work session a couple weeks ago, and these are ready for approval now. And do I have a motion that we approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
I have a motion, a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the consent agenda is approved. Now we're going to move on to, I believe we've got 4 action items here. The first action item is the naming of the Concord High School baseball field, and we got Miss Donna Smith at the podium to talk to us about that. So, Miss Smith, when you're ready.
I'd like to invite Easy Smith to come join me at the podium, please. I feel honored for one Smith to welcome another Smith. I'd like to bring the board's attention to policy 9300, which is entitled Naming Facilities, where it says name selection should take into consideration the following criteria. 1 being the name may be in honor or memory of an individual who made a significant contribution to education in Cabarrus County. And I stand here tonight because I'm going to turn the podium over to Easy to describe where we want to go, but I represent tonight 3 children of the family, if I could say it that way, because I was in school with 3 at Northwest Cabarrus, Sherry, Randy, and Alan. As Easy describes to you the life of Mr. Bill Ford. It's quite an honor.
Thank you, Donna. I appreciate it. I'd like to say thank you for the opportunity to appear. Chairman Chu, Dr. Shepard, I appreciate the chance to be here, and board members. Before I begin, I would like to congratulate Mr. Furrow, Ms. Furtenbaugh, Ms. Blackwelder, and Ms. Minot. What a great job you've done. As a former teacher and coach in this county, I appreciate all your support that you gave, not only to athletics, but also to education and the education of our children. Wish you the best of luck in all your endeavors, and if you ever want to come over to the house and visit with me and Pat, we have a great time in retirement now. To Mr. Chu and Mr. Kiger and our 4 new board members, I wish you the best of luck. My prayers will be with you. The foundation that this board has laid for you will continue to bring success upon our county and our city and our state and also our children, and we're very happy with that. Tonight I come on behalf of Concord High School, our principal, Carla Black, and our athletic director, George Walker, and a number of former athletes, teachers, coaches, and people that have been associated with Coach Bill Ford. Bill Ford was a teacher in Concord High School from 1960 until 1989. He served our county well for 29 years. He was not only the football coach, he was an assistant football coach, but he was also our head girls basketball coach and our head boys baseball coach. 2 of our former basketball members on his championship teams, Margaret Keith Dabbs and Amy Davis, are back here in the back, and they were members of the basketball team. Wayne Dabbs and I played for Coach Ford in baseball. Jeff Goodnight and Wayne Williams were teachers with Coach Ford, and Carla was a student with Coach Ford. So all of us have a representation with Bill Ford. It goes without saying, Bill epitomizes what education should all be about, and that's the opportunity to teach kids and to train them in the ways to go in life. Bill was a teacher. He taught driver's education. He was a physical education teacher, and he also was a coach, as I mentioned earlier. But he was more than that. He was a father figure to so many young people in our county. From 1925 until 2003, Concord baseball was played at Webb Field, named after our former superintendent and principal, one of the first ones at Concord. And that was a great facility. It had American Legion games there, it had high school games, it had Babe Ruth games. And Bill was our baseball coach. In 2003, when we moved the baseball complex to Concord High School, we began a movement of trying to have the field named after Coach. As time went on, we kind of got out of that sync, and I talked to Carla about it, and we talked to George, and we came up with the idea that, hey, it would be a great time. The baseball field has become more of a complex than just a field within itself. And Coach Ford played high school sports at Hartselle, graduated from that community, as Mr. Furr will attest to. And as he knows, and other people, their children have become in direct contact with him. He went on and played professional baseball, came back and served our community well for 29 years. His legacy goes without saying what a wonderful person he was. He was my mentor. If it hadn't been for him and Charlie Reimer and Bill Irvin and Roy Davis, our chairman of the board in Concord City Schools, I would have never had the opportunity to come back and be the head football coach at Concord High School. So I lay the blame or the responsibility upon them for whatever success we may have had. But on behalf of Ms. Black, our principal, George Walker, our athletic director, our contingency of former students, athletes, parents, friends, and family members, and as a former colleague and a person that loves Bill Ford deeply, I would ask and plead with you to recommend that our new baseball field at Concord High School be named the Coach Bill Ford Baseball Field or Complex. I will entertain any questions or anything that you would like to ask of me.
Thank you, EZ. It's always good seeing you here tonight, too. Board members, I'd like to give you the opportunity to ask any questions that you may have to EZ or Ms. Smith there. Reference this. I don't know Bill Ford myself, but with all these accolades and all these fine folks that know him, there's nothing that I could ever say that would be in the way of him being this. So we'll start on Ms. Minot's side if you want to. Ms. Minot, you can make any comments, whatever questions you may have.
I certainly think it's a very fitting thing to do and an honor, not only for Mr. Ford, but for the entire Concord High School and those people that were associated with him all those years. So I'm very much in favor of it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Minot. Mr. Kiger, you have comments, questions?
No questions. Just my heart is always warmed when I hear of people being a mentor to kids that are growing up through athletics, and there's a connection there. Somebody who's a coach, they're a coach the rest of their life. The player may be old enough to be retired, and if the coach is still there, he's still going to call him coach. And there's just a bond there that's almost indescribable to someone who hasn't played athletics. So, based on the recommendation that I hear, I am certainly for the proposal.
Thank you, Mr. Kiger. Ms. Blackwelder?
I just have a comment. Just based on the recommendation, I'm definitely in favor of it, and I think it's not only an honor for the family, but also for Concord High School. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Blackwelder. Ms. Furtenbaugh?
Mr. Chair, I did other previous comments. I think this is a great recognition, and we look for the right recognitions, and I think that's a perfect, if you will, happy ending to all the history that is preceding this. So.
Thank you so very much. And Mr. Furr, I know you have a few comments.
I'll make a few. I happen to know Mr. Ford very well. I've known him practically my whole life growing up, and he is everything Coach Smith said he is. And it's an honor for me to make this recommendation that we pass this. And I make a motion to approve it.
Thank you, Mr. Furr. We have a motion that we approve the Concord High School baseball field to be named the Bill Ford Baseball Complex. Do I have a second? All right, Ms. Furtenbaugh seconds it. All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, the motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Furr. Thank you. Okay, board members, we'll move on to 9.2, the menu of local options, and Matthew Fail is at the podium, and he's going to talk with us about that for a few minutes.
Thank you. Well, before I begin, just first, for the outgoing board members, you really will be missed, and since I do have a chance to come speak to you today, I get a chance to say that. I did want you to know that Ms. Max is unable to be here tonight, so I'm going to present for her. You've received additional information about the local option goals that you've asked for, and the goal was revised per the feedback that we received at the last board meeting. And do you have any questions?
Thank you, Matthew. Board members, we discussed this on our work session, and the corrections and the changes that we asked have been implemented. Ms. Furtenbaugh, I think you had some recommendations there. Was what put in here is what you wanted, what you was asking for?
Yeah, I didn't take good enough notes, but it reads, and it makes sense to me. I remember the last meeting, some of the wording didn't quite make sense, but I'm happy with it now. So.
Okay. All right. Does the board members, anybody else have any comments they want to add to this? Because we're going to vote on it. Okay. Do I have a motion? Let me back up here because I get the board docs, you know how that goes. So do I have a motion that the menu of local option goals for Cabarrus County Schools Opportunity School be approved as presented? Second. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to just recess this for about 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, our next presenters, 9.3 and 9.4, is for Mr. Lynn Whitkey, and he is still at our Cabarrus County Commissioners meeting. So without objection, I'd like to call for a 15-minute recess until Mr. Whitkey gets here, and then we'll pick back up on that. Do I have a second to that? Okay, there's no objection? Okay, let's just take about a 15-minute recess, and then we'll come back and pick up on 9.3. Okay, board members, we'll pick up where we left off before the recess with 9.3, the QSAB project request, approval of the bids for construction on the Northwest Cabarrus High School gym. Mr. Whitkey's, in his absence, we'll have Mr. Todd Berg from the architect firm to take his place. Okay, Todd.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Shepard, members of the board. On November the 15th, we had the bid opening for the gym project. We had 6 contractors turn in bids. We had plenty of coverage and plenty of interest. The apparent low bidder is Holden Building Company. As you can see, hopefully everybody has that up. Do I need to move this, Kelly, or?
I can do it if you want.
We're fighting for the mouse. I got it. As you can see, the base bid for Holden Building Company was very close to the budgeted amount, within about $600 and something. The base bid for Holden was $2,284,000, and at the top of the column there you can see budgeted was $2,283,366. I think that Mr. Whitkey did make a request of Holden to try to get their number dropped to that exact bid amount, which they agreed to do. So the adjusted base bid is the exact budgeted amount. The alternates that Mr. Whitkey has highlighted on here, he's kind of color-coded. There were 5 alternates that were no additional cost, and those were the preferred brand alternates for door hardware and Schlage lock set and exit devices. They're all door hardware related, so those are all no cost. I think those would be very easy to accept. The other ones that Mr. Whitkey is recommending that we accept, alternate number 4 is the Bosch fire alarm security system that matches all the other security systems within the schools. Alternate number 8 is the walkway canopy and the sidewalk that connects the existing school to the gymnasium. There's an existing canopy there now, and we had an alternate there to demo that and replace it with a newer canopy. Alternate number 9 is the existing windows up high in the gym, which have some age to them and really ought to be replaced for energy efficiency, if nothing else. And alternate 10, that actually is replacing the HVAC unit in the auditorium. That is coming, as I understand it, from a separate pot of money that facilities already had. It just made more sense to bid it with this project and pay for it out of that pot of money. So alternate number 10 comes from a different budget, as I understand it. And then alternate number 11, you may recall there was sort of a late addition to redo that concession stand out in the lobby area. And the structure of the concessions is in the base bid, but we made the additional casework an alternate, and that's what alternate number 11 is there. So with all of the alternates that Mr. Whitkey is recommending be approved, that total comes to $2,494,365. And that's about the extent of what I can talk about, because I don't know where the additional money is coming from. Now, I think one option that we do have is to award the base bid and the no bid alternates tonight. We have in the specifications, I believe it's 30 days to take the other alternates with no penalty. So we could come back, we could go ahead and award so we can get all the contracts and stuff underway, have the contractor get the insurance, we can do the pre-construction conference, all that stuff, and then you can decide on the additional alternates at a future meeting, maybe an option that would speed things up.
Okay, Thank you, Todd, for stepping in for Mr. Whitkey. And so what I'd like to do is ask the board if they'd like to have questions toward that. I'm in agreement with what you're saying. Approve the base bid and the 5 no-cost alternates. That's where I'm at. And the new board, when we meet on December the 3rd, this or the business meeting as maybe an action item on the business meeting for December, we can talk about the other add alternates there. But with that being said, we'll start with Mr. Furr. You have any questions you'd like to ask?
No, sir, I agree. Go on.
Okay, Ms. Furtenbaugh.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm thrilled with that. I actually told Mr. Berg that I had pulled out the original estimates just to see how much it was off, and there was really no need to compare because it's right on target. But I would further suggest, Mr. Chair, for you and Mr. Kiger, Ms. Carpenter, that by the next meeting, get a updated plan from the rest of the QSCB projects. If you remember, we had a couple $100,000 left, and Mr. Whitkey was projecting there might even be more than that available leftovers from other projects. So if you can pull out another $50,000, maybe you want to replace those windows for the energy efficiency, which would go along with the other programs in place now with energy efficiency. So at any rate, you'll know more in another 2 weeks, certainly, but just be sure that Mr. Whitkey's ready with that information.
I agree.
So-
We've got to have that information before we can, we got to know where the money's coming from before we can accept alternates that we don't know where the money's at.
Right, thank you.
We got a good idea, but we got to see it in writing on paper. Ms. Blackwelder.
Mr. Chair, I agree as well. That's what I was going to suggest, that using that 30 days that you always have to let the other board members get up to speed and let Lynn, I'm sure he had some preferences as well, what he would have presented to the board. So I think just actually approving the bid, since it's definitely within budget, and the no bid change in the alternates, and then leaving the rest for y'all at the next meeting. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Blackwelder. Mr. Kiger.
Yep, I'm in agreement with that. I do recall that there were some other projects on the list that we specifically said, hey, let's hold off until this bid comes in, so we've got some room to look, which we will have to do and make an informed decision.
Thank you, Mr. Kiger. Ms. Carpenter.
I agree too, and I think that's the best course of action, and that way we can have that in writing for the new board members that will come on, and that way we can see it in writing so we can confirm that.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you, Ms. Carpenter. Ms. Minnick.
I agree with just doing the no-charge alternates and the base bid. The one that makes me think it's a good idea to hold off and let the others, the new board, decide after you've seen an update is alternate number 8. I don't know what the condition of that current access across is, but it might be that money could be better spent on something else that has a higher priority.
Thank you, Ms. Minnie. That was my very thoughts as well, but we'll have to have that discussion at later time. So with that being said, board members, I'd like to entertain a motion that the base bid for, now this is the corrected amount now, is that right? $2,284,000. Is that correct, Ms.?
Actually, the corrected amount that the contractors agreed to is at the very top of the column, $2,283,366 for the base bid.
Okay, I've got to go back here. Okay, let me go back to the,
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to make the motion.
okay, let me see it, $2,283,366. That's the base bid. We have a motion that we accept the base bid and the 5 no-charge alternates. Ms. Furtenbaugh's made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Berg. I
7-0.
appreciate you. Yeah, I'm sorry. Carolyn, you did come in. Carolyn snuck in here, literally, the back door. Thank you, Carolyn, for coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd also like to just make a comment to publicly thank Morrisburg for their creativeness with this solution. This was not an easy project to come in and make a recommendation, and for being right on target for knowing what they could and could not include and getting it narrowed down. Being from that community, I certainly appreciate and look forward to seeing this being a focal point for the campus. So.
I think you're right, Ms. Furtenbaugh, so I appreciate Mr. Berg as well. Okay, board members, the next item is 9.4, the request for approval on the ORED Consulting Services. Once again, Mr. Whitkey is the presenter on this, and then he's, as we said earlier, detained at the Cabarrus County Commissioners meeting. So what we need to do is we need to table this item. Do I have a motion that we table this item to our I guess it would be the December 3rd work session, and we can talk about it some more at that point, and more than likely it'll go to the consent agenda for December. So- Okay.
I would make a motion that we table this item to
Okay.
the
All right,
December meeting.
Okay, Ms. Carpenter made the motion. Do I have a second?
It needs to be one of you all.
We can do it.
Oh, yeah, that's right, second.
Yeah, because you have to be here to bring it back on the table, remember? Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Okay, motion carries. All right, now, the next item is where we convene into closed session, and actually, we've already done that, so we don't need to go back into it. But one thing that we need to do, though, is we need to approve the personnel list. So do I have a motion that we approve the personnel list as presented? Motion second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. All right, I think that's all we have. So now I need a motion that we adjourn.
So moved. Second.
And this is the last time for these four board members. We have a motion and a second. Holly and Cindy, I believe, did it. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, with that being said, the meeting is now officially adjourned, and I thank all of you for attending the meeting tonight in person and the ones of you that are viewing it. And I'd like to say good luck to all of our outgoing board members and welcome to the new board members. Ms. Carpenter, do you want to say something real quick?
I would, since I didn't get to tell the outgoing board members, I was a little detained getting here, but I would like to say just like to say that it has been a great pleasure to work with each Tim, Cindy, Holly, and Grace. It has been a great honor to work with you. I know a lot of times we may not have agreed on items and we may have kind of butted heads sometimes, but it has been a great pleasure and honor to work with each of you. And Tim, I'm going to cut the string now. No more pulling those strings. And he knows what I'm talking about. And like I say, I learned a lot from each of you. Each of you had your fields of expertise. Holly, with your construction. Cindy, with your finance, with your computer knowledge. Tim, with your athletics. And Grace, with your business. You all brought something very special to this board. And I look forward to being with our new board members, and each of you are going to bring something special to this board. And I look forward to working with each of you. And each board member brings something. We all work together as a team. There's not an I in team. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you. And each and every one of you, I'm going to miss you. And I know that y'all will each do something great as you go off. And our doors are always open, and I'm sure y'all will call us and tell us when we do something bad. But I wish you great things, and I'm going to miss each and every one of you.
Mr. Chair, if I could say also, Mrs. Carpenter stayed at the convention last week when I received my award, so I really appreciate you staying, Carolyn, and being there when I received that. So.
We were really honored to see you, and Cindy did great, and I was very proud, and we all should be. When she went up there on stage, she made us proud, and Cabarrus County, we should be proud. And I did get our certificate for us being recognized, and we've got our certificate that I bought back for us, and we were recognized at the state convention for our achievements, and we should all be proud of that. But Cindy did us proud, and she was. Like I say, we should all be honored of her accomplishments.
You're right, Carolyn. We are. We're very thankful. And anyway, as you know, we've already adjourned. We're really out of session. And so anyway, good night to everyone that's viewing, and happy Thanksgiving to you all. We'll see you back on December 3rd. Good night.